Hey, good afternoon, Professor. My name is Eric Clayton. I'm going to be talking to you about the psychological disorder um, bipolar 2. Um, I think first and foremost, I wanted to tell you like a personal story, and then I can get into the details of the disorder. Um, I myself have been diagnosed with bipolar 2, and my mother. I was diagnosed when I was about 13, 12 or 13, and she was diagnosed around the same time, so like in her 50s or so. Um, let's see. So for her experience was like extreme highs, like very loving and kind and a person that would spend a lot of money or bring home gifts, things like that nature, and then out of nowhere for no reason or triggers would happen, like little things I would do around the house, mundane things would trigger these explosive moments of like anger and like essentially like verbal abuse and like breaking things and she's told me she struggles with depression, but I didn't really see the extreme lows. Like she wouldn't sleep for, she would go to work. She wouldn't be like stuck in bed all day. Things like that. Um, so it's taken me a long time, especially when I was younger, to like come to terms with this. Um, I didn't understand, especially when you're young, uh, you know, early teens and even before then, to like why is mom so cool one day and then so mean and nasty the next, and for what did I do, what am I doing wrong? It took a long time to like figure out what was happening, and fast forward to like today, you know between this class and doing my own research and my own therapy and psychiatric care, and fully not fully grasp it, of course, but have a much better understanding of why she acted that way and why she still does. I still have symptoms, but they're really spread out, like far and few between. When I was younger, uh, so she was more verbal on her highs and lows. I was more physical. So, like, on my highs, I'd run around, I'd be really active, riding my bike and motor mouth, couldn't stop, racing thoughts. And then I'd crash, and then I'd have like these really low moments, like self harm and 5150s. Um, Two of those before I was 18, and then one when I was 20. Um, but it's just something that we dealt with. And, mental health issues are, kind of running the family. So something that we kind of gotten, not used to, but we understand. Um, I don't want to ramble on too long about this, but I got the help I needed. I was on medication when I was a kid. I had the therapy through my doctor. Over the course of a few years, we slowly lowered my dosage. I eventually, with his permission, so to speak, I was taken off the meds. Now I have symptoms, very, very mild symptoms, like once every few months. And when they do happen, I'm aware of it. I see the slump coming. Uh, I either reach out to my girlfriend or my friends or just know what to do. Like if I've been drinking lately, I stop drinking, take a break from it. I exercise more. Um, I don't really shy away from it. I acknowledge it and just kind of move on. So that's a little personal take on this, and let's see how this goes. So to sum up bipolar 2 versus bipolar 1, bipolar 1 have symptoms of like extreme highs mixed with extreme lows, versus bipolar 2 is more, it's like mild, hypo versus hyper in nature. So maybe an exciting day, again, talking a lot, being chatty, to like being kind of depressed and don't want to get out of bed. Nothing as severe, usually with like self-harm or hurting, like physically hurting other people. So bipolar 2 focuses more on elevated moods, so irritability, intense energy, racing thoughts, exaggerated behaviors. It deals more with hypomania, which I was just talking about, and in the term like manic depressive. So most people, including myself, that are manic depressive have like normal lives. So we go to work, we wake up, we do our routine, and then once in a blue moon, depending on the person, we kind of have these dips. And when we hit these dips, depending on the severity or the medication or number of factors, we can quickly bounce out, or we can stay in it. And obviously the longer you deal with it, the more you're aware of it, I feel like the better. So you actually have a chance to be aware and treat them before it gets out of control. The symptoms. So again, like, I didn't experience this, but for other people, the exaggerated self-esteem, like top of the world, extreme confidence, being very, very loud, yelling. That was more like on my mom's side. She was very loud. She was a school teacher, so always talked very loud. I was more shy and quiet and kind of kept to myself. But I did have symptoms of flying, like suddenly going from one idea to the next, and I still do that today. So I might start out with this subject matter, talk, go crazy, and then somehow wrap it all back to what I started with. And it drives most people, mostly men, obviously, guy friends, like crazy. And it's more like a trait of like someone chatty and not to the point. So it's just something I'm aware of and been working on. More symptoms, so increased energy, tapping feet, hyperactivity, not very sleepy, always kind of up. Again, not really for me, but everyone has their own symptoms. Funny, outgoing, and get into like risky behaviors, and that could have serious consequences. And that is something I have experienced quite a bit, especially in my teenage years, was being kids and stealing things and running around town and doing really, really, dumb things. So now on the other side of the coin, with the symptoms for bipolar 2, this one relates a lot more to me. So this is the depression side, so like the manic depressive. Could last an hour, could last a day, could last a week, a month. I don't know my longest stint with it, but I would guess probably like 2 or 3 months. And that's probably like my longest stint with it. It was about 3 months straight. Thus the psychiatric care and need to see doctors and things like that. Racing thoughts, hopelessness, things of that nature are also common with it. So they say it's about 2.5% of the United States, the population here, are diagnosed with bipolar 2. So it's about 6 million people. Most likely to start showing symptoms of this in your early teens and 20s. I was 12, 13, so just right on the money there for me. And if they say, if your family member, a parent especially, has it or is diagnosed, that you're likely to get it too. So there you go. The treatment. Mood stabilizers are usually prescribed to patients. Lithium, which is kind of shocking. I was reading about that. Lithium is commonly prescribed, but it takes a long time for it to start to work. I know pretty much anything you prescribe anyone that's a pill, it's going to take time for it to work. Sometimes a few days, sometimes a few weeks, or a month or two. But lithium specifically has like kind of an asterisk next to it saying like, you're going to have to take this over a course of time before you start to really see the benefits of it. So not ideal if you have extreme moments where you need to be calmed down right away. FDA approved Lamictal. They say this with a therapist, like therapy and taking this together, really helps, and especially if you're dealing with more of the lows than the highs. So if you're suffering from the lows, therapy, this pill, FDA approved, probably what people will be prescribed. There's antipsychotics, Abilify, Geodin, Seroquel, things I'm not aware of or knew about until I did the research for this presentation. The biggest take out of this category is they don't interfere with functioning. So my understanding of that is driving your car, being a person high role at your job, being like a principal or a teacher or a foreman. I would imagine taking some of these pills, they might make you drowsy or foggy, not maybe so quick on your toes. So jobs where maybe you're a crane operator, this category would probably be the safest in that sense. Benzodiazepines, aka tranquilizers. So Xanax, everyone's heard of that one. My mom takes it, the smallest dose, and she breaks it in half when she has episodes. Valium, Ativan, and they're used for short-term insomnia and agitation. So again, she'll have a bad day, end it with like a little half pill, calms her down. I've tried it once, a little dose, and it just didn't work for me. Antidepressants, the only FDA approved antidepressant is Seroquel and Seroquel XR. Other common ones are Zoloft, Paxil, and Prozac. I personally was on Wellbutrin XL from, I think, the age of 15 through 18, maybe 20. And they had me on Zoloft when I was 13, and I found my thoughts of like self-harm and depression got way worse on the pill. So they took me off of it and then tried Wellbutrin, and Wellbutrin seemed to work better. I also found out the hard way by taking Wellbutrin that specific type of depressant, you cannot take cold medicine, something like with the cough suppressant in it. So I was on the pill, doing my therapy through high school, got a really bad cold, I'm always been a big guy. I'm over 6'4", almost 6'5", so I took the adult dose on the cough medicine, like the syrup, went to school, and I overdosed. And it was really embarrassing. And sure enough, on every box of cough medicine, like in the fine print, it says do not take if you're on a very specific I think MAOI antidepressants. And sure enough, mixed up the pills there, had a bad time. To kind of sum it all up, it's 2.5%, not common, but common enough. I think everyone deals with ups and downs and depression and has bad days and little low points in life, of course. I think what separates most people, like the other percentage versus people that actually get diagnosed, is kind of how long it affects you and like your behaviors. So, I mean, 3 months of severe depression, suicide attempts, not sleeping or sleeping too much, like these are some pretty major factors to consider. Um, as for a cure, they don't know as of right now. But me personally, dealing with it for as long as I have, I found like the sweet spot is getting the help when you first have signs. So for me, I was a teenager. Taking the therapy seriously. As for the psychiatrist, that they prescribe something, try it. Just don't give it a shot. If it does help, great. If it doesn't, like for my case with the Zoloft, I went nutso on it. Tell them, and they'll take you off, and they'll try something else. Through all the trials and testing, they still find things get through the cracks, and they don't really fully understand everything, of course. So I think that the cure, the closest thing to the cure, is a combination of being aware of it, not being embarrassed or ashamed about seeking help, or being open with a partner or family member or your doctor, and trying the therapy, trying the medicine, and then over time, do your research, read about it, be curious, and just know yourself. Just know, like, if there are certain triggers or life events that happen. For me, stress, family issues, family health problems, this whole COVID thing, my whole career tanked. I had to completely pivot my job. Thus, I'm doing night classes here at City College. And I ended up, I saw a slump coming, and I stopped drinking, started working out, talked to my girlfriend. If it got really bad, I mean, I could get psychiatric care again, but kind of stepped away from that. And of course, I'm still going to have symptoms. I'm going to have some low points, but what I do about it is what really has changed. And I think that's the closest thing to a cure, is knowing yourself and not being ashamed or embarrassed to get help if you need it. And just being positive and not being ashamed if you do need help, or if you need to be, in a 72-hour situation where they are there to watch you and take care of you and get you the help that you need. But this is very, open, candid conversation, and it's taken many years for me to be comfortable talking about this. And I love the class, and thank you so much for your time and being kind and being honest and tough in a good way. Being a good critique is always a great thing. So thanks again for all your teaching and your feedback, and stay safe. Thanks again. Bye.